How's it going, everyone? Happy Whiskey Wednesday. We've got a full house tonight. We've got Danny, Joe, Lee, and there's John. Tonight, we got two awesome bottles. I'm super excited for this one. We're going to get to do some comparing and just really see what the difference is between single barrel selections and small batch. Especially, these are going to be awesome because you got lower proof, so proof's not going to really play a huge factor when comparing these, but it's good to see all of you, and I'm happy to be here. What's up, y'all?
Good to see you guys.
Yeah, good to see you guys. And we got Danny here.
Yeah, good to be here. Exciting to be here.
Yeah, Danny, thanks for playing with the time zones with us because we definitely wanted to make this work, but I'm sure you're gonna have a late night, so sorry about that.
A late night, but a good night.
Yeah,
I'm okay with that.
It's all perspective. It's a good nightcap.
Exactly.
I'm pretty excited tonight too because normally when I do get these bottles sent to me, I crack into them a little early. I like to sit with them and whatnot. I did not do that for this go round, and I don't think I'm alone. John, you said you didn't crack into this yet, right?
That's right, man. I usually do the same and try to get into them a little bit ahead of time. Maybe have a tasting with some of the lads from down the road, but didn't get a chance this time. So going into it blind, I love it.
Sweet. How about you, Joe? Did you crack this one open yet?
Well, Lee and I cracked it together.
Okay.
Okay. I did get to try it with the mastermind here behind it. But yeah, that was so I have a sneak peek, and yeah, I'll leave my comments as we go through together here, but really good stuff. I'm excited.
Lee, how do you think we should go about this? Which one should we start with? Is there like a control that we should do? Or
yeah, I mean, well, and the fun with this one is really the Woodford standard bourbon is the control, right?
Yeah.
So I think we see Woodford kind of everywhere and have access to it, generally speaking. And, they've really made a great foundation with their bourbon. And so their small batch, small batch doesn't have a legal distinction as far as number of barrels. I think their small batch is going to be a lot of brands like entire batch, right? When you think about small batches. So a lot of things will start to blend themselves out as you're looking at that small batch. And then we can go into private select and what that looks like.
Yeah, sweet. And one thing about Woodford, I think too, is like, it's one of those, a lot of the bars, majority of the times they're going to have makers, Woodford. Every now and then you'll see something different in their cocktails or old fashions, especially. So I would say like this is one of those quintessential Kentucky bourbons. A lot of people get started on or started with is Woodford. I remember this being one of my first bottles of bourbon that I bought. And it's a classic. Like there's nothing really wrong with the profile of Woodford. But
yeah. And having gone back to the nose on this and smelling it, like, and obviously Woodford was one of those, like, I'd say entry-level whiskeys that I really started getting into. But like right now I'm smelling a lot of like amaretto, like a cherry almond kind of like croissant kind of notes in there.
I get cherry big time.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I like those croissant notes too. I usually get this very nice like banana nut bread kind of background on these. Yeah. And like, I don't want that to sound polarizing because I know that anything that is banana forward or has that nuttiness in there can kind of turn people away, but I really kind of dig the fruity layers of this one.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I think this is such an approachable bourbon. Like it gives you all the notes that you want out of a good bourbon. There's a little bit of that dusty note to it. Not as much nuttiness. I find it very sweet. It mixes well with a lot of things, but it's also one, honestly, it's really not bad to sip at all. And like I said, you could find it on all the shelves. One thing I do love, and I'm sure that people in the club do as well, when you get a Woodford pick, you actually get a liter as well. I love that Woodford does that.
Yeah, 1 liter bottle's a king.
I love it. Yes.
Yeah, I think the nuance for this is interesting, right? Like so Woodford will say, hey, there are 200 flavor notes in this whiskey. And while I have I don't even think I could name 200 flavors or scents. I do think that the Woodford base bourbon profile gives you a wide range of experience. And so like wherever you are personally, you may have actually a completely different like bourbon experience than the next guy, because I think they've created a whiskey that is kind of meant to kind of meet you where you are. It really is kind of like the everyman's bourbon, right? Like it really is kind of set to give you what you're looking for in your experience.
How was the experience picking this barrel, Lee? Like what does that look like?
Yeah, I mean, well, we're not quite there yet, but it's really, I mean, this will give us a really nice comparison of what the entirety of the experience looks like, and then what a micro blending of Woodford looks like. And so I think that's where we're really going to start saying like, oh, I got this here, but I didn't get this here.
Okay.
Danny, is Woodford a pretty common, I mean, release for you to pick up generally, or is this in your first few bottles?
We do have Woodford in the UK in London. Yeah, you can get it. Definitely on online retailers and stuff. I'd agree though, it's really nice and approachable. I really like it has a sort of chocolatey note, but almost more cocoa-y than very milk chocolate, and I really like that in bourbons. I think that's a really nice note on here.
Yeah, that is nice. I do get that on certain whiskeys, and I can see where you're pulling out on this one as well. I get that a lot of times with higher malt, like our single malt bourbon as well. Like sometimes the chocolate will pull through, but I do see what you're saying about this one for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are you guys' thoughts on the finish on the standard here?
So that's where actually, Danny, that's where I tend to get a little bit more of those chocolate notes.
Yeah.
But I also get some of that like very spring, like honey.
Okay.
You know, like there's some spring notes that I think you get on this finish, along with some of the oak, which is why I think they leaned into double oak a little bit more, right? Because I think you start getting some of that oak, but not like punch you in your face oak, right? It's like nuance.
Because that honey note, I was trying to like see if like I was like maybe I'm crazy here, but I'm getting like that like after you eat some honey, that very finish, like that's what I'm tasting right now on this. So I was curious. I'm like, is that just me? Is it what I ate for lunch today?
What is the
quite
normal
dry oakiness?
Yeah,
Quite dry,
right?
Yeah.
What is the? I probably haven't bought a regular bottle of Woodford in a while. What's like the cost on Woodford?
30-ish in my area.
Yeah,
30-ish?
I think you're looking at sub 40.
Okay.
Generally speaking.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's a great bottle for that price too. I just want to throw that out there. I always love taking into account like pricing for bottles. I think sometimes people pay absurd prices for stuff and get let down. This is one that's not really begging for attention. It's just there, and it's a solid one for what it is and the price too. So
yeah, being so widely available too helps with the pricing. It's not one of those things where you're going to see it for $50 in one state and $300 in the next.
Yeah, pretty standard all around. I'm grabbing this now. I poured a little more just really to compare noses, because right before we started this, I was sniffing both, and it's insane. Before you even taste it, you can tell a difference between the single barrel. Yeah, it really is.
So
Which
different.
ones? I mean, and the pick smells like so much more well-rounded, more inviting. Almost there's less of a harshness to it as well.
Yeah, it's definitely a sweeter aromatic whiskey. I think the nose is a little bit like more floral as well. And I think that really immediately that gives you a nice like A and B experience here. That's actually why we wanted to do this for this group, right? Man, when you get in a small batch, and again, small batch for Woodford is a very large batch comparatively. And then when we get into private selections, we're really looking at a 2-barrel blend. And so this is like the smallest blend you can possibly get, right? 2 barrels. But it allows us to still play with nuance, but really kind of focus in on the flavors that we want within our private selection. So there's never going to be another private selection like this. And especially since it's now a 2-barrel blend of 2 like dynamically different barrels, it gives you a little something to play with.
Yeah. Do you know, Lee, while you were there, do you know their barrel entry proof, or like what Woodford normally goes into the barrel at? I know it's a random question, and I'm not expecting you to know it, but I'm just curious if you do.
I thought they were one of the 125ers.
I was thinking 125, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Sweet.
And with Woodford, they proof everything aside from their, I believe, batch proof down to the same level too. So if you're going from one Woodford bottle to the next, you're going to find that same comfortable sort of cruise control speed and proof. Whereas like a lot of brands, you're kind of all over the place with different SKUs. And it's cool to be able to see how each different release is bottled at least at the same recognizable proof. Whereas like, honestly, for me, the batch proof from Woodford's are usually absolutely killer. I love them. I think those are like the best thing that they do because like you said earlier, like you're kind of getting the whole experience. You're getting a little bit of everything there. The finish doesn't fall off and it really carries through, but you can still see some of those core notes in even the standard shelf for Woodford too.
Yeah, I like the way you described that, the cruise control. That's something I never noticed before too, that Woodford does. Yeah, that is really cool. Are you guys ready to move on to the pick now and give it a little
I'm already losing my mind smelling this thing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, so Kaden, thinking back to Louisiana.
Yeah.
This is the first time I think I really had a strawberry cake that was like delicious. And Lee, you and I were talking about this when we tried this. I remember you saying like there's a lot of cake on the note, like there's like a cake, like, and I get the lightest like ripe strawberry and like a cakey on this. Like I want this in a candle. I could smell this all day.
That is really nice.
Candle.
I would buy that candle.
Well, good, because I'm about to start selling candles and it's going to be fantastic.
Oh, good. Lee.
Wouldn't be surprised.
Single barrel candle.
I'm gonna use this nose to start building candles.
This should be the inspiration.
Yeah.
The color on these seems drastically different.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
That's exactly what I thought too. I was holding them up early and I was just like, wow. The pick's definitely more dark.
By a good amount, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And also what I was getting on the nose, I also get on the taste, meaning less harsh, like a lot less harsh. And I just went back to back with the standard compared to the pick. It is like the ethanol's turned down. You know, it's really, really easy. And I know sometimes a lot of people hate to use the term smooth when talking about whiskey, but I don't mind that word at all. I'm not offended by it. I like when a whiskey is smooth or sips under its proof sometimes. It's impressive to me. Yeah. And that's what's happening right now for me. Okay. I love it.
You're a smooth kind of guy. I like that about you.
Yeah. I don't know. Your voice is pretty smooth, brother. You got a good radio voice.
Good face for radio comes in handy every now and then.
Yeah.
Are you guys finding that it's like full bodied in flavor? Like even though the proof point came, the finish to me has a little more it's pronounced. It just, I don't know. The first word I thought of was like fluffy, which probably sounds crazy weird, but like cotton candy, like fluffy on the finish.
I love crazy weird stuff.
Yeah, I think one thing that's pretty interesting and cool too is like Lee was explaining, this small batch here is not that small. It could be thousands of barrels, which it probably is, right? If we had to guess, probably thousands of barrels.
I think it's a few hundred.
At least, yeah. And then this right here, when you're blending, like you said, a micro blend pretty much, 2 barrels, it's more like reminiscent or reminds me of the Woodford Double Oak. I get more of those oak qualities out of this one right here, even though it is proof down. Well, I guess it is pretty much the same proof as the Double Oak, right? Like we were saying. Yeah. So this one, I taste more of those oak sugars or the complexity that the barrel provides. I'm getting that more out of this than you would with such a large blend, and I find it so interesting. I love it.
I get a lot of that demerara sugar, brown sugar notes, a lot of the richer, darker profile that I feel like maybe where the standard shelf offering is a little bit lighter. Certainly more fruit forward. This brings in a little bit more richness, a little darker. The cocoa notes that Danny mentioned earlier really shine in this pick too.
Oh yeah,
definitely. Joe said fluffy. I was going to say silky. This is very silky to me.
Yeah.
Silky smooth.
Okay, so silky is definitely a better descriptor, but they're both good.
But also definitely a nice spice on the finish. Do you know what this reminds me of? Do you guys have candied ginger?
Yeah.
Is that a very English thing? I'm not sure.
I've never heard of that.
It reminds me of that.
Oh, it's great.
It's good. You should try it.
Okay. I definitely will now.
Just go to your Whole Foods.
Yeah,
they got it.
It's actually a great garnish when you're doing like a penicillin. Man, throw it in there so it breaks up that smokiness of your peated whiskey and your penicillin, and have a bite of candied ginger. Bam, blows up.
Sounds good.
All right, now I do want to hear a little bit more. I did jump the gun earlier, but how was Woodford while you were there? Like, how was it?
Yeah, I mean, Woodford is a magical place.
Really?
Yeah, I think that they're on my short list of like places that I feel really curate a whiskey experience for their guests, right? Like
Mm.
I think Makers is another one that does that incredibly well. Like it's almost Disneyland for whiskey lovers. And I think like Old Forester also does it well, but from a more industrial feel and kind of being way more educational. And so I think here you feel like you're walking onto this country farm. You almost feel like horses are going to run by. They don't have any horses on property, but you kind of feel like that's about to happen. And it's just a much smaller place, and their pot stills are beautiful. The environment's gorgeous. And then once you do this entire tour, you get into this experience of picking or basically creating your own private select. And so one of these bottles basically represents a 2-barrel blend, as I mentioned before. But they basically give you 3 barrels at proof. And then they allow you to taste them at 90.2. And then you blend them together. So you do 1, 2, 2, 3, 1, 3.
Okay.
And so now you get to see like what happens to the whiskey when you go from proof.
Yeah.
And one of the whiskeys in here is actually like over 150.
What?
That they then proofed all the way down.
Man, that's a lot of water.
And I was like, can you just give me the whiskey? That would be great.
Yeah, that's a waste.
Yeah. But that's part of the process, right? So like just great profile. And then you see, does that profile maintain? And then what profile plays well with what profile, right? Because like, I think we talked about this in Pinhook, 2 alpha barrels, 2 very strong, vibrant, flavorful barrels generally don't play well together, right? Yeah. It's kind of like any other life dynamic, right? So you kind of need like your alpha, your beta, or who's your complement to that experience, and that's going to be your enhancer. And so you're really looking at that core whiskey, and then what is that complement that enhances or really builds on that experience. And that's what you do with Private Select. It's really like micro blending and getting a sense of how those flavor dynamics play, and then deciding on the best one.
Yeah,
like that idea.
So many added dynamics to that, Lee. Like I was thinking about that, and I was like, the amount of stress I feel like I would have, like trying to come up with the right.
Yeah.
Like you do a barrel pick, but that's like taking it to the next level. I'd be sweating.
150 proof Woodford. Did you actually get to taste it? Like,
oh yeah.
How was that?
It was awesome.
Really?
Yeah, it was actually. It did not taste anything like 150.
Wow.
Because I think the highest I had before that was like 147.
Yeah.
And that tasted like I'm just heartburn city immediately. This one actually was really good. And so seeing how it came down, and John, you said that, like, man, what a significant amount of water to get you all the way down. But what a great whiskey even after they did that.
Oh yeah. And I gotta say, Lee, whenever these came in the mail, when this sample came in, it was with, normally I get the samples in and I'll sit down with them and just try them all back to back and sit with them. And then I'll go back the next few days and just pour one every day, just pour a different one. This one was so impressive to me. I couldn't believe that it was a Woodford pick. And one thing too, it's not that common, at least in my area, to see Woodford picks. Honestly, we see more Woodford double oak picks than you do these, which is crazy. Like almost every store, every big store, especially chain stores that I've been going to, you see a Knob Creek pick, you see an Elijah Craig, and you see a Maker's Mark pick. If there's a fourth, it's gonna be a Woodford double oak. You rarely ever see these. I've only ever seen these a couple of times going into the store. So I was super, super excited that we were going to be able to do this one. And yeah, I just love it. You did a good job with this one for sure.
Yeah, great pick, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are your guys's, as you're comparing the two, what's everybody's like standout flavor for each, right? So what's your standout flavor on the standard bourbon? What's your standout flavor on on the Private Select? Like, is there something that you're like, oh yeah, this really gets me when I now want something a little nuttier, and then this one gets me like this. To me, building off of Silky, like it's almost like decadent at the end, right? Like it's really nice finish. And so like if I want honestly like that really like polished finish, this is it.
That's exactly, Lee. To me, that decadent, I remember you and I talked about this too. It's very cherry cordial for me, and I love it. And that's where, Danny, I think you mentioned the chocolate. That's where I get some of that on this. It's so much more pronounced on this one, but very dessert-like. Like this is one of those pours, like I can see, now we're going into the fall out here in the States, like pouring this up, got the fire going, just want something decadent, sweet, and delicious. I'm going to be pulling for this every time.
My wife and I went into a bakery this morning, and like this is kind of what it smelt like. I know you brought up the croissants earlier. Like for me too, this one, the pick itself, which is crazy. I didn't think I'd say this about something this low proof, is like a winter pour for me. I cannot wait. This is probably going to get me started Christmas morning. 6 a.m. rolls around. My kids are going to be waking me up saying Santa passed. I'm going to get the day started with this one. and Christmas music playing in the background with the fireplace on, like this hits. And it's only going to hit harder in the wintertime. Normally, I have like very high proof cask strength whiskeys during like the colder months and stuff, just because it's warmer. It warms you up faster. But this one, I don't know why. That's just speaking to me right now. It's wintertime. I can't wait. How about you, John? What do you think of this? Lee, what did you ask again? Your question was much better than butchering.
Don't worry.
I think he's got me. He's got me.
So when I go back and forth between these, it's definitely the pick for me. And it's because of I would say like everything after the mid palate is just so much stronger. It's very bold. It's got like that Mexican chocolate. It has these awesome layers of fruit that are really deep in there. It's like, super dark cherry. It's not the big brighter white fruits or bananas or anything tropical like that. It's a little bit darker, which I think is why you guys are going with these winter vibes with it. I could totally see it. And I'm going to accuse Danny a little bit of giving us the power of suggestion here, because that candy ginger for sure. I was thinking it's like the Mexican chocolate or like a little crushed black pepper on the back end, but really, like as soon as she said ginger, I was like, man, maybe she's onto something here. I think it's the pour or the select for me, and it's because of that just rounded palate with the killer finish.
Definitely. If the regular one is, I mentioned the chocolate, and that's kind of, that cocoa, it definitely is chocolatey, but the pick is so much richer. It's a much deeper sort of, smoother, richer chocolate. I really like that. And again, with that ginger, that spiciness on the finish.
Yeah,
amazing pick. This is
so good.
This is special. For sure.
Earlier, Lee, you mentioned. No. You should let Joe go.
Sure. Joe, what do you think? Which one do you pick?
Oh no, no comparison. It's the pick all day. There's no question. I told Lee that too. Like when we were sipping it together, I was like, yeah, there's no question for me. I really like the standard. It's good. It's tasty. But if both are sitting in front of me, I'm taking the pick all day. It's just elevated to Danny's point. Like she said, like it's just so much bigger, so much more pronounced. It's just delicious.
Yeah.
Sorry, John.
Don't you be sorry. You just be awesome, okay? You're doing a great job. I was going to bring up that Lee had earlier mentioned like flavor dynamics and just the differences, drastic differences, even from batch to batch or barrel to barrel. And Danny being the European correspondent, I wanted to know, like, as somebody who is frequently posting about Scotch or at least European whiskey, when you are talking about flavor dynamics and you see something like this come across the desk, how drastically different is this for you? And like, do you think this scratches the itch for the Scotch or Irish or, otherwise European whiskey drinker? Like, does this go down the alley that they want to go down? Like, where does this land for you?
No, definitely. Do you know what? You're right. I come from Scotch quite a lot. I mainly drink Scotch. But I think definitely with the pick, those very rich brown sugar, dark chocolate notes are quite reminiscent of sherry cask whiskey, there's similar notes that you'd experience there. So it definitely does, it has its similarities. It definitely works for someone who drinks a lot of sherry cask whiskey or sherry cask scotch. Definitely scratches an itch for me, for sure.
I think also having all of Woodford at this standard proof, right, except for those batch releases, definitely helps, because you can really start exploring the nuance of this whiskey and you're not blowing out your palate. Like, this is one where, whether it's their standard bourbon or this private select, you can maybe have this start your night and then continue on to other whiskeys. And it's always fun to see how one whiskey, two whiskeys, five whiskeys transforms your profile or your palate, like the things that you're tasting over time. Or those snacks you're grabbing if you're at a party. And so you go for that first whiskey and then you have a few different flavors of snacks and then you go to something else. Like, I think Woodford always, just because of that, just over 90 proof, is a really good starting point.
Yeah, super approachable. Have you had any other have you had many of the Woodford selects? Because they can get kind of out there.
Totally. So as far as like these selects, so this is actually our fourth personalist selection with Woodford. I think I've tasted about 6 or 7 more. And
have
then
you had any that are like truly weird?
No, actually, I think a lot of
I'm
them
going
kind of
somewhere
stay
with this,
within
so I'm
profile.
trying to walk you down the path here.
Okay, please do. Yes, I have. Oh my God, tell me about it.
Can you tell me what was weird about it, Lee, in your personal experience drinking it on a rock?
Yeah, well, on a rock.
The rock.
Freaking guy. So where I'm going with this
on a rock,
is
it's beautiful, by the way.
some of these get very strange for bourbon drinkers, because you can make your own blend with these that may not conform to what you would expect.
Yep.
And so as like a fun experiment here, I actually have a single barrel from the Amsterdam airport that my wife picked up for me while she was traveling.
Sick.
And just on the nose alone, so I just cracked it now and just poured it alongside these. And this right here instantly brings me into single malt land. Like, this is no longer in the bourbon territory. And I really feel like they're catering to their audience, obviously, in a European market. They want to sell something that's probably a little bit more adjacent to what people are used to. But when I nose this thing next to what we have here, it's miles apart. You wouldn't believe, I don't think, that these are the same producer. It's very wild.
Wow.
Well, I think part of it is the experience itself, right? So one thing that we've done with Woodford every time is we require like an on-site visit. And the reason we do that is nobody's going to tell you that they do this, but as a buyer, I'll tell you that I've heard many times, not from Woodford, but from other places, they do this, right? If you're coming on site, you get great juice. Okay. Right. So if you're spending the money, the time, have the interest, you're going to probably get better whiskey than if you're getting an in-market buy, or maybe not even tasting it at all. Like, I just want a barrel. I just want a barrel. Send me a barrel. Right.
Which happens.
And so we have not heard that from Woodford. So I'm not saying this is a Woodford comment, because also the blending would be really tough. But
sure,
I do think, like, when you're thinking about like the Amsterdam airport, did they just say, hey, this is the type of profile we're looking for?
It very well could be.
Can you blend us something in that direction? Like, I don't know what that level of feedback is before they get the end result, because we will only pick a private selection in person so that we can really kind of, spend the time figuring out, what works best. And so I think maybe that funkiness can be those like in-market blends where you're like, yeah, they're sending a whole variety of flavors because they're trying to attract an unknown variety of palates.
Yeah, it's absolutely possible. I mean, this is so much more grain forward. It reminds me very much of single malt, even like a little bit more like an Irish whiskey, where it's very light. It's got a lot of like almost a grassiness to it, a lot of honey character, very toffee, caramel on the palate. It's actually really nice, but it's miles apart. It's a whole different world.
Yeah. So part of life is just showing up, right? So, if you show up, you make your blends, if you get an in-market pack, usually it's a few bottles that are like, these are your options. What do you think? So,
And to go to what you're saying, John, I find it so crazy that happens. I think that's why I love whiskey so much, and that's one of the biggest, like one of my favorite things in whiskey is the bottle that you're talking about from the airport is the same exact mash bill. They went into the barrel the same exact proof. They went into the same barrel, or no, excuse me, the same barrel company probably made each of those barrels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they taste so different. It's
Wildly
because
different.
yeah, it's just wild. It comes down to temperature, warehouse, where it's aged, and most importantly, the barrel itself. No tree is the exact same. The wood that it produces they're not the same. Each sugars is going to taste different or affect the whiskey differently. So that's why I love single barrels too. And I did see someone made a post and said that a lot of the times single barrel whiskey is not that good. And from experience, and I'm sure Lee, you could probably agree too, I've tasted some pretty crappy single barrels. Not like in the bottle. I'm talking from the barrel at the distillery, wherever
sure.
we're doing. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
like it's pretty crazy how majority of the barrels that are in a warehouse just alone by themselves are probably not going to be that good. You got to pick out the best ones to get a pick. So I just find that really, really cool when picking single barrels.
Well, and again, the distillate is always the same, but the
Yeah.
end result, based on all of the thousands of different things that can happen, can be wildly different. And that's the beauty of the blend, right? Like maintaining that same profile relatively over and over and over again, using an entirely new math every single time, right? Like it's now a new math of new barrels and hoping these things kind of blend themselves out over time. And so that's a really, just interesting process.
Yeah, the other side of that same coin is going to again pull us back into the European market there. And Danny's perspective is something like a Johnny Walker. Like you could buy a bottle of Johnny Walker Black Label, and then you go across the country and buy another one, and then you go across the world and buy another one, and they always taste like Johnny Walker Black Label. And there's as much art in making that happen as there is in bottling up single barrel bourbon. That's great too.
Yeah.
The ability to find a profile and stick to it is as much magic as it is science, I think.
Yeah, 100%. I think it might be a little harder. Honestly, it's pretty
For
crazy.
sure. I would imagine so. I mean, the amount of like master blenders and the effort that has to go into making a lot of the European whiskeys that are so popular is just, it's very insane.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, to that point, Danny, you just recently had a video on, hey, before you try Blue Label, try these other great whiskeys that, at price point and flavor, right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, check out the video if you haven't, anyone. But no, there are some amazing blends. Sometimes the Blue Label is good, don't get me wrong, but it can be overhyped, overpriced, etc., etc. There are other good things out there, I would say.
Yeah, I love those type of videos. I think that's like, you should keep those up, by the way, because I love watching them and I love reading the comments too, seeing what people say. A lot of times people throw out their own suggestions, and sometimes they're actually pretty good suggestions too. But
yeah,
any of y'all got some closing thoughts on this bottle, on this month's bottle?
My hot take is I think this could, in a blind, can compete with a lot of those double oak picks. Kaden, we've had a few of those.
Yeah,
I
agree.
I might have to run that. Might have to make that happen. Lee, I think I told you. I'm not trying to hype you up, all right?
Yeah.
No, you picked a monster. Like,
don't bump his tires too much, okay?
Woo!
Yeah.
I gotta go, guys.
This is one of my favorites. I probably am going to be in my, when I think in this range of proof, it's going to be up there for my end of year. But yeah, I think my hot take is I think this is going to smoke some double doubles. Even Lee, what you got, what you showed, I don't know, man. We'll have to see. I think this might show out.
Well, I mean, that's a great lead in. So, I mean, we literally just straight out of the box today got our first
Here we go.
double oaked private select. And what's actually interesting about double oaked, and we can get into this in 6 months or so, but double oaked actually only has 3 batch types, right? So where with the private select for bourbon, excuse me for hitting the mic, you have that opportunity to blend your whiskey. With double oaked, you're really down to 3 batch types. And so they've designed profiles that really focus in on double oaked. And so we actually purchased all 3. We said we want to give people the opportunity to know what each of those 3 are and experience them side by side. But I do think once I take some photos of this in about 30 minutes, I'll definitely be cracking this and setting these guys side by side, see what happens.
Yeah.
That's cool. I'm excited. Sweet. Well, I guess that'll wrap up with this month's tasting. I appreciate everyone that can make it tonight. Danny, huge thank you to you. I know it's super late where you're at right now, so I appreciate you sticking with us. And make sure if you're not subscribed, because I know today is a public live stream. If you're not subscribed already and you're interested in getting some more bottles and some great single barrels that Lee picks, make sure you join the club, and we'll see you next month for the tasting. Do we have an idea, Lee? Can we tell them what's coming next month yet, or we haven't fully?
No, we can't. I sent you those samples. We got to talk after this.
That's those.
After this
we need to. All right.
This is huge. But also,
right.
hold on. One more shout out for Danny. I mean, you are killing it on that Bottle Raiders channel. Like straight up, like the content you're creating there is so fun. So hopefully you can come back and visit us again, because you're creating some really fun content that, like, when I see it show up, I'm like, oh, pause. Meeting's over.
Oh, thank you. That means so much coming from you. And it's such a privilege to be here. Really, I've enjoyed myself. It's been good.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Appreciate it.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers, y'all.
I'm empty.